So first of all, I, Savan Pandita, welcome you all to this 6-day long webinar series on operating system that is named as the Operating System Bootcamp organized by Axis. So for the first day, I'll be walking you through the basics of the operating system. So let's start. Fine. Okay, so the topics that are going to be is the introduction to the operating system. Then the difference between multitask, multi-thread, multi-process, what are that? Then boot block, then kernels, then we'll be having different types of kernels. Then we'll be having dual mode operation in OS, right? So let's get started, all right? Maybe someone is remaining yet. All right, so first of the thing that as we are taking session on operating system, so what are operating system? Of course, this question comes to the mind, right? So pretty much basic, what you all are working on daily, you are having tons of things. Nowadays, you are daily on laptop. So now OS just is an interface between the user and your hardware, like your laptop, your computer. That is an interface between that. So it is software which performs all the basic tasks you do, or you give them the task, right? So there are different operating system. You all know that there are Windows operating system, there are Linux operating system, and so on, right? Mac OS is there. So now all right, so this picture is I would say that this picture defines everything, right? So the below here comes the hardware. Okay, so hardware contains your CPU, your RAM, your input output devices, all that, and the other side comes that is user, the end user, that are you, of course. So having an interaction between these two, you need to have something between. So what an operating system does, it's an interaction between your hardware and yourself, right? So upon the operating system, there are system softwares that help the application softwares to run. All right, so this is pretty much basic. What is an operating system? Okay, moving forward, we have types of functions of operating system. So different types of functions, some of you must be knowing them. Memory management is there, process management is there, device management is there, file management, security, control over system performance, job accounting, error detecting aids, and many more, right? So, okay. So the interview question, what it asked is that mostly this topic is bit introductory topic for you, that we are walking you through the OS, like you are in you will be promoted now to the second year, right? So you will be having all these subjects, and all these subjects are important in some or the other way, as you are very much focused in coding or development or anything, but then also you need to go through these subjects like OS is there, CN is there. All right, so these are pretty much basic questions, and these are important for your interview. So coming to the interview question, the straightforward question can be on this topic, that is the main purpose of operating system. All right, so as I told you earlier, main purpose would be only one, that is it is an interactive interface, and it is designed to have the computational activities, right? So it is an environment for you users, between you and your system. So how would you interact with them, right? So you are given an OS for that. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, so now comes the pretty much basic and I guess this is an important topic which you should know, and I'll walk you through this. And the thing is that you should know the difference between multi-programming, multitasking, multi-threading, and multi-processing, right? So what is multi-programming, right? Running multiple applications on a system at the same time is known as multiple programming. Like you run Word, At the same time, you run email, you run a web browser. So all these goes through your operating system, managing your CPU, and then showing you all this, right? So this is done by multi-program. Okay. So now comes multi-processing, right? So computer using more than one CPU at a time. So here comes a doubt, right? What do you mean by multiple users? We only have one user, right? So multiple user here means that processors. Nowadays you are having different processors. In a CPU, you are having different processors at there running parallelly to do some work, right? So you are having different processors, and on that you allow your work to do. So that is called a multiprocessor. All right. So then it's multitasking. So what does you mean by task sharing, right? Multiple tasks, what do you mean by? So multiple tasks can be anything. Like it can be the processes can be there, the threads can be there, so the programs can be there. So what do you mean by a thread, right? So the basic question is, so what can I say about thread is in layman language that if you have a process, right, you are giving some certain uh, instructions to your computer, you have a process, and in that process you have different threads, like that process is again divided into different threads, so that executing at the same time is known as multitasking. Okay, so what can be the examples of this, right? Examples can be running mp3 player at the same time, running editing your doc, and at the same time you can use your Google Chrome. So here comes the doubt, right? So at I before told you about, I told you same about the multi-programming as well, right? So this is a difference. The difference comes here is that it's a very minute difference between them. So the difference comes in two terms. The concept is that context switching, and second is time sharing. So all these concepts will be taught to you in the further sessions. So these are the these concepts are responsible for differentiating multitasking and multi-programming. All right. So let's move forward. Multi-threading. Okay. So just now I told you about thread, right? So thread is a small part of your process or your some instruction is a part of that. So let's take an example. Like I want to play song on the VLC player. So what can be one thread is that it is open VLC. Second thread can be play the song. Third thread can be associated with adding new songs. So all these threads work parallelly to make our task happen and at the same time make it fast. So this is the main concept behind multi-threading. All right. So let's move forward. Right. Okay. So here comes a different topic: boot block. So you must be knowing and you are well acquainted with when you push on your laptop or you click on your power on button. So there is 5 to 10 seconds of time that is letting you into your system, right? So it gives you 5 to 10 seconds of time, and then when it's ready, you can work on that. So that is the boot block. What do you mean by boot block? That when the window is starting, it is initializing all the aspects of the system. Like here it is written, it is initializing all the aspects of the system from CPU registers to device controller and the content of the main memory. So basically what it does is it initializes all the content or all the main memory and CPU that is making you fit for working on that after the booting is done. All right. So this is a simple concept that when you start your computer, so booting is done. That is the main concept of booting. Okay, so here comes the another concept, that is kernel. This is also pretty much basic concept and yet very interesting and very important, I must say. See, kernel is the core part of operating system which manages system resources. Right. System resources are managed by this. What can I say about this? So this is just a middleman between the application you run and the CPU, memory devices. All the system resources are these CPU memory devices. So this is an interface between them. There are they are in ample number. So this is an interface between your application, what you are running, and what you are giving them command to execute via kernel on the CPU, memory, or other things, other devices, right? So yes, interview question is on this also, pretty much basic and straightforward. What is a kernel? So you can just say a kernel is a core of every operating system, obviously, because it establishes a connection. So it connects application to the actual processing of data. It also manages all communication between software and hardware component to ensure usability and reliability, right? So what I told you. So let's get back to another thing, right? So there are two types of kernels. One is monolithic, other one is microlithic. Okay. So what is monolithic kernel? In this type of kernel, these are the operations that are held by your computer, right? So this is nowhere into your control. This is all managed by your computer. You are not access to this part. All right. So what are different management? That is process management is there. Memory management is there. Interrupt handling is there. So let me give you a brief description of what all this is. Process management. So just like you are having 4 to 5 processes going on. You are running something. You are running Word. You are running Google Chrome. So they are individually processes. So when you run these processes, there should be a scheduling. Scheduling as in, I will not go into that deep. Scheduling as in, there should be some proper management there with which process to execute when. So that is a big question, which is that which process to run when. So that is controlled by kernel. So that kernel is totally under your OS control. You are not access to that. Then comes interrupt handling. Okay. So what is an interrupt, right? So in layman language, what an interrupt can be that you are doing something and then over that someone has interrupted or something comes over it and you have to first perform that and then you can continue with your previous one, right? So like I am working on Word file, right? So what I do is I press CTRL Shift and Escape. All of you would be knowing that this shortcut is for task manager, right? So once I click that, task manager is having the highest priority in our system and it pauses all the processes back and it pops up, right? So it's the fastest and it has the highest priority in our system. So that can be considered as an interrupt. Likewise, there are many interrupts in our operating system, which is handled by our kernels, right? So these are what is monolithic kernels. Coming to microlithic kernel. Okay, so just we talked about monolithic, that is the OS end or the that is not in your control. So what is microlithic kernel is that is in your control, that is in the user control. So let me show you a picture that will make more clear. See, this is between user space and the kernel space, right? So as I already told you about the kernel space, there are different process management is there, memory management is there, interrupt handling is there, all right? So for the user space, what all things are there, that is device driver management, file handling management, protocol system, stack management. So, okay, let's not dive deep into these things. I'll take a simple example of this. Let's take file management handling or file management. So it's completely in your hand that where you make directory, where you save your file, what name you should give to your directory, that is all on you. That is not taken by your OS. The things that are taken by OS is process management. You cannot go into that. But yes, you can generate your own directory. You can have your own name. So there comes your own, right? So this is the user space and kernel space, of course. So space is said that user can use what user can do, it's known as user space. What kernels can do or what operating system does is known as kernel space, right? Okay. So now there are two operations in OS, right? So what are the two operations in OS? Two operations are divided into user mode and the kernel mode. Okay. So as we talked earlier, user mode and kernel mode, it's based on like who performs what, right? So it's pretty much that. Like user mode can be you are creating a document, you are using an application program, then the system is in user mode because you are running it, you are the governor of that, and you see what to do and what not to do. All right. What is a kernel mode? Second things come, what is the kernel mode? When the system boots, right? So when I was talking about boot process, and then I told you that it takes 5 to 10 seconds to boot, and then you are ready to perform something on your computer or your PC laptops, right? So would you connect with that there the booting process was not at all in your control? You cannot do anything of the booting, right? So that is totally under the control of your OS. So here comes the role of kernel mode, right? So this is totally handled by the kernel. The startup of your computer, the booting of the computer is totally conducted by your kernel mode. And when it's ready to be get instructions, when you are ready to go, so it switches back to the user mode, right? So for this, of course, we don't want our computer to be in some trouble, or we don't want something to mess up. So there are privileged instructions which are executed in only kernel mode. That is very loud and clear, in only kernel mode. That is, if you even try to access that statements or that instruction, you try to fetch them, that are illegal, and your OS totally ignores them. So some of the privileged instructions are handling interrupts, as I already told you an example of task manager and you working on that. So that's completely not in your control uh, to which process I should give first. If I am getting 5 processes, so should I execute first process first or the second process first? So there are different algorithms for processing those all schedules or all the processes that are there, right? That is the privileged instruction also. So this is an privileged instruction to switch from user mode to kernel mode. All right. So of course, you are not allowed to switch from user mode to kernel mode. What if a computer or a laptop wants to execute its kernel mode and you are not giving it access? So it's completely a privileged instruction, all because to maintain your computer, to make everything work smooth. So that is what are privileged instructions. Also, input output management is a privileged instruction. All right. So let's move forward. Okay, so here I have a diagram which would explain very in a very good meaning. So first, let's suppose you are working on Word or PPT, anything you are working, right? So here is the user process execution, right? So you are working on your thing, what you are working. Then suppose the task manager thing I told you, right? So I give an instruction for the task manager, and now it's an kernel method, or it's an kernel execution. So it needs to go to the kernel mode. So what it does is it has a bit that is toggled between. There are two modes, user mode bit and kernel mode bit, right? So what it does is when I give it a call for in task manager, it toggles a bit to the 0 because 0 bit is set for kernel mode, and when it toggles, it goes into the kernel mode, and all the kernel executions, what all are there, are executed. And after they are executed, it toggles again into 1, and then it gives you permission back to work on your previous work. And your previous work is no doubt be saved on something on stack. It is previously saved somewhere. So that is all. You can know how kernel and this works. All right. So okay, here it's written. Note, to switch from kernel mode to user mode, mode bit should be 1, right? Of course, I told you that mode bit should be 1 to go into the user mode. To switch from user mode to kernel mode, the mode bit should be 0 as specified here, 0 and 1. All right. So this is all what I can say. This was pretty much basic what OS can be taught of, what you all need to know about the OS, because on these interview questions are very rare. I showed you the interview questions; they are very rare, and they are generally straightforward. So you need to you are having more important topics in OS, so that will be taught in further sessions. So yes, thank you everyone. It was a lovely session. I hope you learned out something from this, and now you are set for upcoming sessions in our webinar series. That is, yes, interesting and very important for your interviews. So I insist you to attend all the sessions throughout this week. They are really very interesting topics ahead. Okay, so this PPT will be shared to you. All right, we'll also provide you a Google form for any queries you may have uh, got from this lecture. So you can share them. I'll answer you on that. And so, all right, stay tuned. Enjoy the week. We are having a very good sessions ahead. So yes, that's it.